It almost sounds like MIDI bass playing. You know, you've ever opened up Guitar Pro or a Finale or Sibelius and played like a MIDI bass part. It sounds just like perfectly. This is what this sounds like, only it's not fake. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Lone University. In this video, I'm excited to cover the late Sean Malone. I'm upset I never got to see him play live because he is one of the players I've looked up to for a very long time. But I mentioned him briefly in the first fragment video, and you guys jumped on it and said I must cover Veil of Maya, Sean Malone bass playthrough from their debut 1993 record, Focus, which really put them on a map and has become such a landmark album in progressive metal. So let's jump in. This is Sean Malone playing through Veil of Maya from Cynic. Kind of F to B there. Going down to E. Look at his perfect technique. Amazing. Flawless. Look at his fretting hand, how little motion there is. It's perfectly efficient. Listen how short those notes are. And of course, we have that signature growly, fretless sound that contrasts so nicely over heavier passages. Wow. Real quick, again, flawless technique. There is such little wasted motion. I would say there's such little movement in general, so no wasted motion. His plucking hand is such a light touch, a jazz touch. I know Sean Malone has a very academic background with music, and I remember seeing a video of him playing with Mike Portnoy on like a Rush tribute show, and that was the first thing that was like my first exposure to Sean Malone. I was like, this guy has like flawless technique. It looks like he's not even playing. And this goes to show you that having a really consistent touch and no wasted motion, you can really play technical music for days on end and keep your stamina up. It's very important, especially in a genre like this. You know, I hear a lot of Jaco approach. I'm aware that Sean Malone actually authored or co-authored a book for Hal Leonard about Jaco, his legacy, or some of his bass lines or some transcriptions. I'm not entirely sure, but I remember seeing that a long time ago. And this line right here is such like Jaco the Chicken kind of thing. It's kind of this like this walking fast line. That is such a Jaco thing, and he's like imprinting it in this like tech death kind of prog cynic thing. It's so cool. It's such just a contrast to everything else with the guitars. Let's keep going. Look at how effortless his plucking technique is. Super light touch. I just can't get over how staccato he's making those notes. It just pops out. He's fretting and unfretting so quick, and again, the effortless nature of his fretting hand is allowing this to sound just so smooth. It almost sounds like MIDI bass playing. You know, you've ever opened up Guitar Pro or a Finale or Sibelius and played like a MIDI bass part. It sounds just like perfectly. This is what this sounds like, only it's not fake. It's pretty impressive, you know, nod to his technique. Nice harmonic there. Looked like he was over the 5th fret. Oh, beautiful. That's another technique you just can't really do on a fretted instrument. Just a slow vibrato if I'm here on like the G. I'm moving my finger, but it's not going to waver the way it does on a fretless with that kind of vocal tone, just slight up and down, sharp and flat vibrato to give it that expression. You know, I can do this all day long, but it's kind of like, he's kind of giving it that, but it's just well done. That is such a fretless thing. Just amazing. Got a nice lyrical line going on here. Let me see if I can jump back into that. He kind of plucked his thumb there. It's like he's opening a pedal tone kind of thing. Watch his thumb here. I don't know if he was plucking or just keeping time. I just kind of noticed that. It's a great chill, open melodic section. This is kind of a hallmark of Cynic's sound. Just combining the Jaco and Hyde of heavy and soft. Very great. Nice. He's also plucking almost like practically right up adjacent to the bridge, which gives you that very nasally Jaco tone that, you know, Jaco's noticed for. If I roll all the way to my bridge pickup. It cuts some of the lows and you get this really tight focused nasal punch. That has always seemed to kind of be his tone throughout the records I've heard, and it's really great to see him playing. Just a masterful touch. You know, having a counterpoint to what's going on in the guitars are very mid-rangey, kind of arpeggiating chords going along. I can't fully hear what the guitars are doing here, but I can tell that the bass lines are not that, and they're contrasting it nicely, which is right up my alley for some really great counterpoint type of playing. I just love how light he's plucking. It's just really cool to me. Here's back with that kind of Jaco-esque line. I'm going to pause and go back up. He doesn't lift a finger until one finger's done. So instead of kind of going like up this little chromatic passage here, looks like he's kind of going 1, 2, 3, 4. He's not going like this. It's keeping his fingers real close to the fretboard. That way you don't have to travel back in a fast passage and cause like a kind of sound. When the fret the notes, it just sounds messy. He's just so efficient. Watch his fretting hand. So close to the fretboard. Yeah, I think that line's something like... And that's actually kind of fast, but something you got to remember, when you want to play fast with fingerstyle, playing harder is only going to slow you down. It's actually an illusion. The lighter you touch, the more consistent your notes are, they're going to have the illusion of being louder and more together. So to get speed like that, it's ideal to be relaxed and consistent. Don't focus on volume, focus on evenness between the notes. And he is, you know, just nailing that kind of concept here perfectly. Love his little double stops. A tritone flat 5 thing there. It's really cool. And his right hand, just executing the raking technique perfectly, getting that kind of percussive, muted note, ghost note thing. Right there. Hell of a solo entrance. Nice. That part too, the way the bass and the drums are kind of ebbing and flowing here is really interesting to me. I mean, really great bass drum chemistry with Sean Reinert on drums. May he rest in peace as well. The two Seans, man, they were just such a driving force behind Cynic. Not to take away from what Paul contributed. Obviously, he is, you know, the mastermind between a lot of this. But, you know, they all kind of were in their own contributive ways based on what I know about the band. But this passage right here, just the way the interplay between the bass and the drum is very interesting. He's kind of accenting counts that you wouldn't normally do along with that kind of drum beat. Let me see if I can hear that. Kind of this part. A very syncopated da-da-da-da-da kind of thing. I can't quite hear what's going on with the drums. I'm watching his fingers, but it's not a simple rhythm. It's very locked into some rhythmic element going on there, which is really, really interesting. This is kind of back to that same theme earlier. Kind of an E Lydian sound. Back to the intro. Kind of F between E. Back to that same Jaco riff again. I'm just going to keep calling that because it's really cool. Another opportunity for me to point out what I mean by not moving a finger until you need it. I'm just going to let this Jaco riff play again. I want you to watch his fretting hand index finger. You'll notice that the pattern kind of goes. It's like he goes back to fretting down here, but he only moves it to this note when he actually needs it. It's like it stays fretted while the other fingers are moving, and he only moves the index when it's needed. Pure efficiency, right? Let's go back and check that. Just watch his index finger during this riff. Right here. Crazy. Index finger only moves when he needs it to. So he's actually doing notes up here with his his ring and pinky. So I got the riff wrong. And it's hard to do that because you have to consciously keep a finger fretted while letting these other three move and only moving this one until it's ready to move. And it's just how you get this look of like relaxation, no wasted motion. You're not raising the index finger up way out here to have to bring it back down because that would be a wasted motion, right? So, I mean, this is what flawless technique looks like on bass to me. Go in a mirror and practice and watch yourself play. Very important, by the way, to watch yourself play in the mirror. I did that a lot growing up. I recorded myself a lot once smartphones kind of came around. But it's always important to look at yourself playing and try to mimic other players you think who have good technique. I'm telling you now, this is one of them. So, something to remember. The articulation on the notes, just perfect. Mix of staccato, long notes. Ooh, kind of a different section here. Meow, 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 meow. Just lyrical. I love it. Okay, fade out. Very interesting. Well, Sean Malone, incredible player. May he rest in peace. And this was a real treat to watch this. And Focus is an album I have not really spent any time with. I was so into Traced in Air when it first came out, and I spun that thing hundreds of times. So it was nice to kind of hear the genesis of this band, their debut record, and it's always a treat to watch somebody as masterful and skilled as Sean do what they do. And I really wish I would have gotten to meet the guy. Heard he was super well-read and really into the craft of things. And his Wikipedia page shares a lot of really interesting stuff that he was into, other interests and hobbies, and I can kind of see that same level of dedication carry over to his playing. But thank you guys again. Please like this video, comment what you'd like to see next, and make sure you're subscribed. Cheers, and we will see you next week.